So once again, in my last review, I was accused of not being serious enough. So this time, for real, this is going to be my super serious review of Argarest Zero, or Record of Argarest War Zero, or Argarest Generations of War Zero. It's going to be a super serious review on one or all of those games. Well, that's easy, and slightly complicated. When the series was localized in North America, they called it Record of Argarest War, and then, in Europe, presumably they thought that that name made no sense, so they called it Argarest Generations of War, which also doesn't make sense before you've played it. And lastly, the game is known more colloquially as simply Argarest Zero. Argarest Zero was the second Argarest title to be released. However, it is the first game in the series because it is a prequel. There is also another title called Argarest Generations of War 2, but that is a sequel to the first one and not this one. So Argarest Generations of War is actually the second one even though it released first, and the last one is the last one, which is 2 ahead of this one, even though this was released second. But it is the first one in the timeline and not the second, and the first one is actually the second, and this one is the first. Argarest Generations of War 2 is actually the third, and Argarest Generations of War is the second, even though it has no number. And while some might think that no number is less than 0, you'd be wrong, because 0 is actually the first one. So, in summation, play this one, Argarest Generations of War 0, first. Argarest Zero is a strategy JRPG. Fans of Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics will feel right at home with the battle system. The gameplay is story rich and some may find it to be a little text heavy, but thankfully all cutscenes, interactions and chat boxes can be skipped, or set to auto, which means you don't have to keep pressing A. There is also a very cool feature wherein you can bring up the entire chat history. This comes in handy if you feel you've missed an important plot point, and you can even replay the voice acting individually. There is an overworld map, but you will simply use that to move between little nodes. Different colours denote different things, the most common being a red node, which means you're going to have a battle on your hands. The battle system is a little bit more complicated than the latest Fire Emblem. It adds on several mechanics to the traditional strategy RPG style. Once you've moved a character, you also have to choose which way they face. If an enemy hits you from the side or the back, you take extra damage, and vice versa if you are attacking. Your move phase always comes before the enemy, and you don't know where the enemy will move to or what way they will face. I did find that I was able to predict movements pretty well after just a few hours, and I observed that the enemy rarely moves at all if they are in range to attack you. There is also an action point system, which vaguely reminds me of the Brave and Default system in Bravely Default. The character with the highest AP attacks first. This is also affected by your agility stat. You can choose not to attack at all and stockpile your AP. You can use as many attacks and abilities in a single turn as you have enough AP for, so saving your AP one turn means you almost certainly attack first on the following turn and are able to unleash more attacks. There is also a linking system. Each character has a set group of squares that causes them to link with another character if they land on one of them. Characters linked get their AP recovered and are able to attack in the same turn. You can also unleash combo attacks. You have to experiment with different abilities to see which ones morph into combo attacks, and overall it was quite fun once I got the hang of it all. The battles are tough, especially this one, but lucky I have backup. What the f***? Here we go again. The graphics do look dated, but not necessarily in a bad way. It uses a similar graphics engine to the one that was very popular in Japan for a very long time. Most will immediately notice its similarity to Breath of Fire 3, Xenogears, and Grandia, as well as a bunch of other high quality titles. It has had many improvements over the PS1 engine though, and does end up looking quite nice in a retro style. The graphics are accompanied by gorgeous illustrations and character portraits for chat, skits and story development, and overall I found the game's look and feel to be timeless. Yes, it is. As you can see here, on Newegg.com, a 450 pack of number 2 size paperclips will set you back $20.28, while Agarest Zero only costs $19.99 on Steam. Your files, papers and notes may be slightly less organised, but with the 29 cents you save, you might just be able to pick up a Steam trading card or two. When I go into a strategy JRPG, I'm never expecting to be blown away by the music. The soundtrack often works, but is never memorable. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is the best soundtrack I have ever heard in a strategy RPG before. I found myself humming some of the tracks for days, everything fits really nicely, and I never found a track I didn't like. For reference, I have been using backing tracks from the game throughout this entire review. Using my totally arbitrary and geometrically incorrect scoring system, I give Agarest Zero 5 sideways diamonds out of 6 vertical rhombuses, and in my mind that means you should buy it. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit that like button, or hit the dislike button if you didn't. You can click on the screen to watch some of my other videos, and if you are interested in picking up a physical copy of Agarest Zero on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, please use the links in this video description to help support my channel. And on that note, if you're anything like me, you love the idea of reading books, but you just never find the time to sit down and dedicate your time to it. That's where Audible comes in. Audible provides a huge catalogue of professionally dictated audiobooks. If you would like to support me, you can sign up for a free 30-day trial using the link in this video description. You get 2 free audiobooks to start, and you can cancel at any time. The books are yours to keep even if you cancel before the end of the 30-day free trial. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more reviews, guides, thoughts, impressions, and everything else I do. I'm JRPG, and I live and breathe JRPGs. I'll see you all soon.